As a Christian, it is important to understand the difference between trials and consequences. You see, for many of us Christians, we think whatever happens to us that is unpleasant can be categorized as trials. And so instead of taking responsibility for what is happening to us, we pray about it and say it is the Lord's will or it is the Lord's doing. It is not always true. Trials is defined as the negative or unpleasant things we go through or people put us through, not because we caused it, but because we have chosen a stand or we have taken a decision. Are you getting it? But on the other hand, consequences is a direct result of what we do. So you see that for trials, if you are going through trials, what you will be facing is not a direct result of what you do. That is why we end up asking God, why? Why are these things happening to us? But for consequences, you cannot ask God why, because you know what you did. That is why Apostle Peter in the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12 to 16, Apostle Peter made it clear to us. Let's make sure we are not going through that thing because of something we did. Let's read it together so that you see. Verse 12 to 16 says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the trials which is to try you, as though some strange things happened unto you. He said, do not be surprised when you go through trials. It is not a strange thing. These things are meant to happen to people who have taken their stance in Jesus. 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matter. Are you seeing it now? Apostle Peter is telling you that if you are going through trials, count it all joy, especially if the reason is because you stand with Christ. These things must happen to you. But do not think it is trial when you are facing the consequences for what you did. That is not trial, that is punishment, that is consequences. You brought it upon yourself by the negative things that you did. You understand now? So a Christian, before we stand before God and say, Father, why is this thing happening to me? Why am I going through this? Oh Lord, I believe that one day things will get better. You need to check if you are the cause of what you are going through. Because if you are the cause and you do not take responsibility, those things will not go away. If a person decides to become a thief and he is arrested and he finds himself in jail, he has no reason to tell God, why am I going through this thing? He caused it for himself. If a Christian decides to go into fornication and then gets infected with HIV or any other disease, and then come to church and say, Father, I know my health issue, these are trials. It is not trial. You brought it upon yourself by disobeying what God told you not to do. All right, so we must understand this. If in your marriage you want a good result and then you are doing negative things, what you will get in your marriage from your partner will be negative things, because you can't keep hurting somebody and want your marriage to be good. So if you end up having a bad marriage, it is because you have invested negative things into that marriage. If as a Christian you choose not to go to school, or you are lazy with your studies and you don't pass your exam, and this affects your future by not getting good jobs, you cannot say, Father, why am I going through these things? Life is hard. I know it's because I've chosen you. No, people are not giving you that job because the devil is against you. It is because you are going to lay on the bed the way you dressed it. You chose not to be serious with your life. The same thing too as a Christian. If you work in somebody's organization and you are not serious with your duty because you feel you always have to be in church, or you have to follow online prayer programs, and your boss gets to know and fires you or demotes you, you cannot blame God for that, because you are paid for that job. Are you getting what I'm saying? So we must understand the difference between consequences and trials. Christians, we pray, many of us will pray, Lord, take me through this thing I'm going through, Lord, these trials, I cannot. You need to really ask yourself, like Apostle Peter said, hope you are not going through what you are going through because of what you have done. Because when you understand that it is because of what you have done, you can now take responsibility, and then your prayer will be different. In such a situation, you rather should be praying for mercy and not for God to prove himself in your life. Because God is not the cause of what you are going through. You are the cause of what you are going through. You understand? So it's very important to know this, and as we apply this to life, we will not pray amiss or pray foolishly as Christians.